All right, well, moving along.
All right.
Here we go with the political correctness.
Okay.
The boss of Scotland's TRNSMT, I'm not sure what that is, has said it will be several years before a festival lineup can have a 50-50 balance between male and female acts.
Why does that matter?
Well, apparently it must matter. Festival director Jeff Ellis says more women need to be picking up guitars and playing in bands.
TRNSMT is pronounced transmit.
Okay.
It's cool. It's cool wording for a music festival.
All right. I wasn't aware.
It's the Transmit Festival.
Okay. He made his comment as the first acts for Transmit 2020 were announced. We'd love there to be a higher representation of females, but there isn't, certainly on the acts we're announcing today, he said. Mm-hmm. It will be a while until there's a 50-50 balance. That's definitely several years ahead for any major festival to achieve because there's far, far less female artists.
And even fewer that are successful.
Exactly. We need to get more females picking up guitars, forming bands, and playing in bands. Why is that important? Either you're good or you're not. Either you have the passion to do it or you don't. Yeah. You can't engineer bands and say, oh, well, we need more female guitarists, or we need more female band. Hey, do you want to be in a band? Because we need more of you.
Yeah.
How dumb is that?
It's not smart.
This again goes back to this whole, look how progressive I am. I'm trying to make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
Courtiers Ian Brown, Liam Gallagher, Foles, Keenan, Lewis Capaldi are some of the male artists announced for Transmit. Of the 13 acts announced in 2020, just 2 are female. That would be Rita Ora and Little Sims.
Sounds like a great time.
Crickets? Don't even know who Rita Ora is or Little Sims.
I've heard of Rita Ora. I have not heard of Little Sims.
Okay. Jeff says Rita is already already an arena level act, and that Little Sims will be one in the future, and hinted that more females will be added in future announcements. There's definitely more to come. They're just not over the line yet, he added. Mm-hmm. Who's worried about this?
Apparently this festival guy.
Why is this a concern?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever judge a festival by saying, man, if there were more female acts on the bill, I think I'd go?
Just Lilith Fair.
Yeah.
That's it.
The festival's Queen Tut stage, which is for female acts only, will return at next year's events.
So they can't even fill a side stage.
No, they got to have their own stage.
Okay, good.
We're giving that platform to help more females see that kind of opportunity because you do get more of a drop-off at a grassroots level, and there are less female artists around. It's not just about booking more female acts, because if there are less of them, then there are less of them to go around at all the festivals. When Queen Tut was launched last year, a spokesperson for the festival hit back at claims it was box ticketing exercise.
Dude, can we just admit that there are certain professions, and basically all of them are the entertainment business, that women are just not going to be dominant in?
Yeah.
You're never going to have... I mean, are there great women artists in music? Sure. But for the most part, I mean, in the last, I don't know, in your lifetime, the big women artists were absolute anomalies. Your Whitney Houstons of the world.
And Madonna.
Madonna. You know, those types.
Britney Spears.
Yeah, and even Britney Spears was up and gone in no time. Britney Spears had more of a shelf life because people wanted to fuck her than they wanted to listen to her.
Shania Twain.
Shania Twain is a big one. You know, I mean, but these are all anomalies. Pop music probably has the most of them, and then you start really cherry picking from there into other styles of music. Country, you've got Shania Twain, Reba McEntire, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, Carrie Underwood, maybe. She's pretty big.
Crossover Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift is very big. And is Adele country or pop, or I don't know what she is, but she's big. In rock, there's nobody really in rock right now, is there?
As like a female fronted band?
Yeah, Hailstorm.
How big are they?
Not very. 3,000 seats, maybe. I mean, it certainly wouldn't be like In This Moment or anything like that. I don't know. It just throughout time. Are there good ones? Of course. I mean, you can obviously say Heart. Heart is a fucking phenomenal band.
Yeah, but they've been around 50 years,
and they're an exception.
Mm-hmm.
They're an exception, and in the 70s, they were an exception. Part of the fucking attraction to Heart when Little Queen came out was that they rocked hard for chicks.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that they just rocked hard. The music was great, but if they were dudes, Heart would not have been as big. They wouldn't have been as big. Because they would have been... They got a pass because most other chicks sucked by comparison. And I'm not saying that Heart is anything but excellent. I love Heart. I think they are an excellent band. But they're not... I don't know, what else was out in 77? The Eagles?
Yeah, they were huge.
Go with the Heart of the Eagles. It's the Eagles every time.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Every category. Every record-to-record comparison, every single-to-single comparison, every everything comparison, the Eagles would fucking smoke Heart. Because chick bands always got love in spite of being chicks, kind of. You know, that's why there's always that term of, you know, female-fronted bands. That's why it's not just considered bands, because you have to give them a pass because they are chicks.
Yeah, you have to point it out.
Yeah, they're just not as dynamic as, I don't want to say they're not as good, but they're not as dynamic. You know, they're just not. They're missing something. You know, it's usually grit or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's either grit or it's something that's universally relatable. You know, that for a long time has been a big problem with female-fronted bands, is that they write songs that only women can associate with. Where dudes write fucking heartbreak songs that fucking everybody can relate to. Like your boy Don Dokken.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you pick any Dokken song and it's a fucking sad tale of getting fucked over in a relationship. Well, everybody can relate to that.
Yep.
You know, I mean, that really is the whole gist of it. You're never going to have women be fucking dominant. Look at fucking Lilith Fair. What'd that last? 5 years?
5 seasons, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't last forever. And really, other than Sarah McLachlan, Melissa Etheridge, who can you name from that's still playing?
Yeah.
None of them. You know, I mean, that says it all right there. Who are the 90s? Who are the 90s? That's a 20-year window now, or actually 30. God damn it, we're getting old.
I know.
Who is still around from the 90s or the 2000s that were female singers?
Well, I think one band, I think these guys were apart for a while, and I think they're touring again, is the Cranberries.
No, that girl died.
Oh, that's right. She did. That's right.
The singer died.
Yeah, just this past year. You're right.
Yeah. So they're not touring. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anybody. It's interesting.
Yep.
The Dixie Chicks, stop it. The Indigo Girls. Last time you heard their name, the Indigo Girls.
We in no way want to segregate women or put them on a different stage. That is not the intention.
Okay.
The festival's head communications said in July, she added that having a balanced lineup is a long-term goal. Why? Why does that matter?
Because, as you mentioned, she.
Okay.
She.
In 2018, 45 festivals signed a pledge to have a 50-50 festival by 2022. They've signed a pledge.
Oh, that's nice.
In June this year, Primavera Sound, which takes place in Barcelona, became the first major festival to achieve a 50-50 lineup.
Wow. It was attended by 18 people.
Yeah. Lizzo, FKA, Twigs, Janelle, blah. I can't even tell you who these people are.
All right.
It's not difficult once your mind is set. When you decide that you want to do this, you start looking for female bands and see that you have been listening to them during the last month. See, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Festivals are put on to make money. And you don't just put a band on the stage just because of their gender.
Right.
You put them on because they'll draw a crowd. And if a female band is just because they exist, well, you just go, oh, you're a female band, let's put you on the stage. Nobody's ever heard of you. We don't know anything about you, but you're a female band. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. You got a vag. Get up there.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
At what point does anybody go, are these guys popular? Will people come see them? Does anybody know who they are? Have they made a splash in the world? Will they be an asset to this festival?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know anybody who puts on a festival and goes, yeah, I hope we lose money this year.
The days of giving a shit what was in the band or who or what their makeup was in the band ended with Motown, for God's sakes. No one cares.
That's just, I just don't know where that mindset comes from.
I can't ever think of a time that I was like, I'm not going to a show because chicks are on it.
Yeah.
Never. You know, but the only time I've made that decision was when it was all chicks. It was like Hailstorm with In This Moment.
Right.
Because I didn't want to sit through fucking In This Moment.
Yeah. I don't get it. It's just like, okay, well, that's a noble cause, I guess. But you can't just manufacture a lineup.
Right.
I mean, you're there to hopefully make a profit. And if you know, whatever acts are available to be signed, you gotta weigh are these guys going to be worthy of the money we're paying them, and do they have a following, and will they put asses in the seats?
Right. And the answer for most of them is no.
Yeah. How dumb is this? What world do we live in?
A world of equality, my friend, where we need to have full diversity and full equality, because as you always say, that is our strength.
Yeah. Diversity and inclusion is our strength.
Is our strength. So we need more diversion and more equality within our concert visiting.
Yeah. So if you know, there is a female band out there and they do rock and they do have some kind of a following and people want to see them, and the concert promoter says, hey, this band's available, could you put them on the bill? To me, I would go, well, how much do they want? Well, they want $10,000. Okay. How big are they? Well, they got a Facebook following.
All right.
Well, are there fans going to make the trip to this festival? Well, they're popular in Dublin. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. Are they worth $10,000?
Right. Of course not.
It's a business thing. It's not a I want to discriminate against you thing. It's just like if you're a female band and you've got a good following and you could bring asses to the seats, yeah, I'm going to put you on the bill. If it's worth the money. But if you're not, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I don't get it. I mean, why are we allowing, or why are they, I'm not saying we, because it certainly does not affect me.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they allowing this quote-unquote progressive thought process to overrule just common sense and business practices?
Because they believe they're going to change the world, my friend.
Are they?
They believe it, but it never
well, good
works.
for you. I hope you go broke.
Oh, they will go broke. Because it's never going to work. I can tell you, any festival that does a 50-50 lineup with chicks and dude bands is going to flop.
Well, do 50-50 lineup just for the sake of having a 50-50 lineup.
I'm saying in any circumstance. In any circumstance, that festival will be half full. It will be half full because there's not enough quality chick bands to do that on a festival. There's no possible way you could do a festival with 20 bands and 10 of them be chicks.
Okay.
And sell well. It won't sell well. The tickets are going to be $300 a ticket, and people are going to be like, fuck that. To see who? Rita Ora? I don't think so. Slim Jim or whatever you said? Smelly Jim? Whatever it was. No one's going to that.
Yeah, I don't get it.
No. Nope.
I don't know. It's just like, how do you make that happen? We're going to promote these female bands and you're going to like them.
Yeah, God damn it.
And if you don't, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. The headliner of our next festival is Blackmore's Night.
Yeah, pal.
8 people all dressed like Jacko with the dumb hat will show up.
So funny.
Yep.
All right, let's take a short break and let's come back and wrap up the show.
Okay.
Can you believe it already? We're already almost done.
I know.
It's great.
Sounds good to me. I mean, that would be terrible.
What would you like to hear?
I am going to request
The
geez.
Who?
No, not the Who.
The brand new Who? Got a new Who tune you want to?
No, I don't want to hear anything from the Who. How about if we just go with some 13 Steps to Nowhere, Pantera.
Wow, look at that. 13
Steps from Great Southern Trendkill.
Yeah, of course. Pantera. What a shame.
Yeah.
I was a fan of the band. I'm not as huge of a fan as yours.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get into them early on. I got into them
later.
Yeah, I got into them about Far Beyond Driven.
Okay.
That's when I kind of discovered them.
Sure.
And when I heard, I was just like, oh, man, I dig this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But then, it wasn't, 4 years later, they were already done.
You're done.
Right? And I saw them a couple of times, and they were a very intense band, and obviously they set the bar very high.
Sure.
When it came to what style of metal that they do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a shame that they fell apart the way that they did.
Yeah, they did. And obviously it's never coming back now.
No. And it's just hard to believe that, both Abbott brothers are dead.
I know, it's crazy. Definitely nuts, man. Glad I got to know him, though. That was the little kid in me that actually had that little kid rock star moment.
Of course.
that they were my favorite band and I got to be friends with them.
Sure.
So, and I'm still friendly with Phil, so he better not die anytime soon.
And is it weird that he's the one of the survivors?
It is weird because if you would have asked anybody in 1994 who would be dead first, everybody would have said Phil.
Of course.
Everybody would have said Phil. And, it's amazing that he's the survivor.
Yeah.
And I hope he's the last one standing, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just a weird thing. But, yeah, Pantera definitely, you gotta give those guys respect.
Yep. Walk! Are you talking to me?
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, here it is. It's Pantera, 13 Steps to Nowhere, exclusively here
on your classic metal show.
This is Philip Van Somo, and you're listening to Neely on the Classic Metal Show. Enjoy.